Okay, I'd like to bring the meeting of the Long Beach City College Board of Trustees to order. We met in closed session and there is nothing to report. Let's have our esteemed Academic Senate President, Dr. April Juarez, please lead us in the flag salute. Thank you, Dr. Juarez. Can we have roll call, please?
President Uranga.
Present.
Vice President Kellogg.
Here.
Member Bowen.
Here.
Member Clark. Here. Student Trustee Donato.
Here.
Okay, before we continue, there was a reason for the having Dr. Juarez lead us in the flag salute, because actually this will be her last meeting with this board, and we want to wish her well in her future endeavors, and we have a little token of our appreciation for your departure. I want to give this to you. Dr. Juarez, if there's anything you'd like to say, this is an opportunity to say it.
There was actually. I know it's been a real difficult year for all of us, but I really wanted to thank you for a couple of things. One, I want to thank you for having this seat at the board for the Senate, because I talked to other academic Senate presidents throughout the state, and I know that this has not always happened for the Senate, and they're not always represented in this way at the board. And I want to thank you for listening to the faculty and your willingness to compromise, and even with when you disagree, doing it in a collegial way. And in a personal sense, I really want to say how much I appreciate the warm way that you have included me in all of the activities of the board. I've always felt very included, and I know that you will do the same for Phyllis Arias when she steps in here. And I consider it a great honor and privilege to have served as the Academic Senate President, but I really look forward to going back to being just a professor.
Thank you, Dr. Juarez, and I've certainly enjoyed your company and your leadership on this board. And again, I wish you well in your continuing profession with us at Long Beach. Any other comments from the board? Okay. We'll continue on with the meeting. President Superintendent Oakley, you have some welcome and introductions.
Yes. As has been customary the last several board meetings, we want to honor another group of retirees. So we have several that we wish to mention, and I know two are here, so we will begin with them, and begin with someone who has served the college for, hard to believe, 36 years. She must have started at age 5. She has served as a professor of child development since 1991, was the director of College Children's Center before that, and just done a marvelous job for our students in the child development area. Has been part of the faculty leadership through the Senate, has been a co-chair for budget advisory, and just done many, many things for this college for so many years. I certainly consider her a colleague and a friend, and someone that I know I will miss, and I know everyone at the college will miss. Chris Jacobs, Child Development Professor, congratulations, and come on up and receive this certificate of appreciation.
Good evening. I would like to first thank the board for taking this time to recognize my service to Long Beach City College. I would also like to say a special thank you to all of my colleagues for their friendship and support. And to my husband, Mike Jacobs, Professor Emeritus, thank you for being my husband and best friend for 43 years. Honey, I'm finally going to join you in retirement. But most of all, in honor of Father's Day, I'd like to thank my dad, Maurice Quang, a World War II vet who dropped out of school to support his siblings and widowed mother during the Great Depression. My dad experienced hardship during and after World War II. He never complained about any of it, and although he was poor, had little formal education, and had experienced unfair treatment, he was always accepting of all people, no matter their income, education, ethnicity, or religion. Dad was a single parent. Every day, there was a roof over my head and food on the table. Dad taught me to read, and when I was 6 years old, he took me to the New York Public Library and helped me get a library card. During my childhood, he would discuss politics and world events at the dinner table. Whenever I asked questions, he would say, "You can figure it out or look it up." Dad died in 2002. He didn't have much in the way of material things, but he left me his most important things: an unabridged dictionary to look things up, the chess set he taught me to play on, a collection of classical music, and his Bible. And Dad gave me the values I brought to Long Beach City College over the last 36 years. If he were here tonight, he would probably say, "Good job, kiddo." Thank you, Dad, and good night, and thank you all for this career. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. And next, someone who's got a tough act to follow, but nonetheless has given 41 years of service to Long Beach City College, has served as a professor of ESL since October of 1980, literally touched thousands and thousands of students over his career, has given his 40 years of his life to Long Beach City College and our students, has just done a tremendous job for all those years and really been a leader in the ESL department. So for all his years of service, please join me in congratulating Professor of English as a Second Language, David Thrift. Come on up.
I didn't know I was going to have to say anything until I got here a few minutes ago, so I don't have anything prepared, but I just want to first of all thank my wife, Lourdes Thrift Riveros, who's been the center of my life for the last 29 years of being married to her, and who is also an employee of the college, and who keeps me going all the time. I'd like to say that I'm very grateful for having had the opportunity to teach all those thousands of students, I guess, that Mr. Oakley mentioned, and also for having worked with so many kind and caring colleagues. So thank you.
Now, we do have a few other individuals that could not be here this evening, but certainly deserve our congratulations. First of all, we have Tom Killian, who has been recognized several times over the last week or so. He's served Long Beach City College for 44 years. He is one of those people that we thought would always be at Long Beach City College, but at the last minute chose to retire and to leave us. He's been a professor of mathematics since 1969, and has just done a tremendous job for so many years. So please join me in congratulating Tom on his retirement. We also have retiring Frank Iazeta. Did I say that right, Rose? Yes. Okay, I don't want to butcher his name there. Frank has served the college for 32 years, a professor of accounting, and we certainly wish him well and thank him for all his years of service to Long Beach City College and the business department. So please join me in congratulating Frank. Also retiring after 27 years of service, Olympia Salmas, professor of office technologies. Olympia started with us in 1986 as a professor of office technology, certainly seen a lot of changes in her area and has served us tremendously over those years. So please join me in congratulating Olympia. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Gabor Voss, professor of automotive technology, has served us for 17 years, began as a professor of automotive technology in 1996, served as a professor in automotive technology in Rio Hondo, Vancouver, and several other areas throughout his career. So for all his years of service in support of our students, please congratulate Gabor Voss on his retirement. That's all the retirees I have. We were expecting Patricia Hayes to introduce some students. Patricia's not arrived yet. I don't see her. If she arrives later, I may interrupt and let her introduce her students as well.
That'd be fine.
Otherwise, that's all I have.
Well, thank you, and I want to certainly add my congratulations to all the retirees. A lot of institutional knowledge you're taking with you, and of course your experience and your mentoring abilities for future and upcoming instructors in your areas, and I wish you well, wish you luck. Happy travels to all of you. Thank you. Okay, can we have next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of May 28th. Can I have a motion, please?
Second.
Okay. Any amendments, changes? Okay, hearing none, adopted as presented.
Mr. President, the student trustee had a comment.
Okay, Andrea?
Yes, with all due respect, I consider that the minutes during public comments on non-agenda items are not reflecting what people is saying. I can speak myself. Last meeting, I did not share my concerns about Assembly Bill 955. I presented a resolution that the Civic Engagement Club, an active organization in this campus, passed in opposition of that bill. I felt that public comments on agenda items or on non-agenda items are the voice of the people and should be reflected a little more accurately.
The secretary would like to respond to that, or superintendent president?
Well, I'll respond, and I appreciate student trustees' comments, but the board has had for many, many years policy of not having verbatim minutes. Those public comments are certainly available for the public if they wish to be heard, but the board policy is to not take verbatim minutes of the meeting. So yeah. I appreciate the comment. We'll certainly work on trying to incorporate as much of the spirit of the comments, but per ed code, we do not take verbatim minutes.
Yeah, if I can add to that, I recall when I first started as a board member, we did have verbatim minutes, and the document was just very thick, and it was all the hems and haws and everything that was included in there. So we decided to go ahead and have minutes that would be reflective of the gist and the spirit of the comments that the individuals were putting into their were stating at the podium. Also, individuals can certainly visit the website, go to our board agenda meetings, and hear the full discussions and everything that was basically discussed at that meeting. So they're certainly welcome to do that as well. Trustee Kellogg.
No, that's exactly right. When we went away from that old, where we had everything in writing, was the same time that all our meetings became televised. So if people want to actually watch, see, hear, they have that opportunity. And so what we did at the same time was to eliminate that format for writings. And so it fit out very well. So.
Okay, any other comments regarding the minutes? Okay, accepted as presented. Ordering the agenda, do I have any individuals, anybody would like to reorder the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Welcome to the new trustee. Well, she's already made her presence known. She's here. Andrea Donado, why don't you, this is an opportunity for you to introduce yourself. What's your major? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I'm looking for get a degree of sociology from LBCCD College, and then transfer to 4 years university and major in gender studies. During my period as student trustee, I will be sure that the student's voice is well represented. My commitment is with the student, and I am willing to work with this board and with this administration for the best of the students. That's all.
Thank you. Well, we certainly look forward to your leadership, and I hope that we are able to share our thoughts, and certainly on those instances where we might have some disagreements, that we certainly can agree to disagree, and we can certainly move forward, and hopefully that we will have a nice and cordial, as I mentioned to you earlier when I first walked in, and I said hi to you, que ojalá que podamos tener una relación cordial, which is having a cordial relationship between us. And one thing that I want to mention, which I think is very important at this time, because we had a trustee your predecessor, miss a couple of meetings. So one part of leadership is to attend meetings. The other part of leadership is to participate in meetings. And the other part of leadership is also to respect the individuals with whom you are meeting with. So I certainly hope that we are going to be able to maintain that type of relationship to the point to where we can work together to solve problems and not create problems, and be part of the solution and not part of the problem. Okay, thank you. Any comments from my colleagues? Okay, hearing none, we shall continue, and welcome again. Presentation of certificates, Citizens Oversight Committee, Eloy?
Yes, thank you, Board President Uranga. We have an opportunity to honor the service of 3 members of the Citizens Oversight Committee. They serve voluntarily. They represent segments of the public that we serve, and their job is to oversee the expenditures of the Measure E bond proceeds. And we wish to thank them this evening for their service. I will read off their names and ask, I know we have at least 2 of them in the audience today, to come up and receive a certificate. But first, let me name them in their position, and if everyone can join me in thanking them. First, Barry McDaniel, who represents support organization for the college. He was appointed and served on the Citizens Oversight Committee from 2009 to 2013. Mr. J.C. Squires, who represents the community at large, was appointed and served on the committee from 2009 to 2013. And Mr. Gary Westling, who represents the Bonafide Taxpayer Association, was appointed to serve from 2009 to 2013 as well. Please join me in thanking these members of the community for serving on the Citizens Oversight Committee. Now, I know two of them are in the audience today, so first I'd like to ask Mr. J.C. Squires to come up and receive a small token of appreciation from the Long Beach Community College District Board. Also with us this evening is Mr. Gary Westling. Gary, come on up and receive a small token of our appreciation. I don't believe Barry could be with us this evening, but we have a certificate of appreciation for him as well.
President Oakley, I got a message just a few minutes ago. Barry had a death in the family, so he was racing to catch a plane, but he sent his regrets for not being here tonight.
All right, well, we wish him well. Anyway, thanks again to all the members of the Citizens Oversight Committee that we're honoring today, and thank you for your free and generous service to the committee and to the taxpayers. That's all I have.
I also want to add to our gratitude to the members who are leaving our oversight committee. It's a very important committee for the college in regards to our bond management program. Thank you for your volunteering and for your service to the college. It was very useful and very helpful, and of course, we wish you well in your other endeavors as you move forward. Thank you very much. Okay, item 1.3, appointments of the Citizens Oversight Committee. Trustees, you have a list of the 3 appointees that are scheduled.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. And please send our congratulations to the new appointees to the Oversight Committee. Thank you. Committee reports. Do we have any committee reports from the trustees? Okay, hearing none, we shall move forward. Student trustee. Andrea, this is an opportunity for you to share your thoughts and your activities with the students, and we certainly welcome you here again, and looking forward to your discussions with us. Thank you, and sharing your information.
Yeah, thank you. So after the whole process of program discontinuance, I cannot express with words my frustration. The students and the community have been expressing in different ways their disappointed. Several protests have been held. The associated student body took a vote of no confidence, and the majority of the members of this board had been served with recall notice. I think after all, several points of the process had been unresolved, and today many of the students affected by the program discontinuance process have not been given the possibility to finish or have not been placed in any other institution where they can finish their studies. As it is stated in our policy on program discontinuance 4024.5. Few Fridays ago, I heard several of the interior design students asking for help during the academic senate meeting. These passionate students want their situation to be resolved. That same day, in the same meeting, but later, I heard President Oakley saying that the policy will be reviewed. I believe it's not about changing or review the policy when it is not being followed. It is about working as leaders and honor our laws for the best of every single student. The community of Long Beach have the eyes on what is happening in Long Beach City College. Whether this community decide to recall some of the members of this board or not, I don't want to hear an excuse that paying for a recall would justify more program discontinuance. Further, if the Goro were to win the mayoral elections, the district will have to pay for special elections, so I don't want to hear either being an excuse for other program discontinuance. So now, having in consideration this board concerns about former student Troya, I am going to report what is happening in ASB. The ASB and PCC Council banquet happened a few Fridays ago, and I would like to congratulate every student leader who won an award. But the last meeting of ASB, I felt lower student morale. This issue really worries me, since they are the students' leaders on campus. I feel that the way that the students are being treated is not acceptable. At least 2 of the ASB members' integrity has been questioned by our staff and even by members of this board. It does not surprise me the lack of involvement specifically for students running for ASB positions, after they have seen and hear the consequences of speaking out. I believe we are in a country that promotes the freedom of speech. So please, I will encourage this board, the administration, and some of the staff to honor the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Donado. Public comments on agenda items. I do not have any speaker cards, so we will move on with the agenda to the consent agenda. These can be done in one motion. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on any of these items? Okay, hearing none, we shall take a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, we are now at the regular agenda. Academic Senate, no items, no report. Superintendent President.
Yes, thank you, Board President Uranga. I also want to echo the comments at the beginning of the meeting and thanking our Academic Senate President for this year, Dr. April Juarez, for her service, for being a constant, consistent, persistent advocate for faculty, for working with me in a collegial manner throughout the year, and for, again, working through a very difficult process and helping the college move through it in the best way possible. I have the unique perspective of working directly and intimately with the Academic Senate President. And certainly this year has been a very difficult one, but April carried herself in as professional a manner as I've ever seen, and I want to thank her for that and wish her the best going back to the classroom. Let her know that I will miss her, and again, thank you, April, for doing such a fabulous job as Academic Senate President. I also want to, and the next meeting will have an opportunity to congratulate Phyllis. I met with her earlier today and just want to congratulate her on her election as the new Academic Senate President. I look forward to working with her in the new Academic Senate leadership. I also want to give congratulations to one of our administrators. Dr. Byron Breland has accepted the position of interim president of San Jose City College. So Dr. Breland will be leaving us this month to go off and tame the San Jose City College issues that he'll have to face. But I think that he's armed very well with the skills that he's learned here at Long Beach City College, and we wish Byron very well, and I expect that he will be a success at San Jose City College. Let me also say thank you to everyone who participated in commencement, who helped put the commencement ceremony together, to all the facility staff, student affairs, all the communications, Camille and her team, media, everyone who helped put it together. It was a terrific ceremony, so thank you again for doing a fabulous job. From my point of view, everything went perfect, so thank you. And want to thank all the faculty and staff who attended. It was a great ceremony, and I thought this year in particular, both the valedictorian and our commencement speaker did a fabulous job of representing the values of Long Beach City College. Let me also say that although Student Trustee Donato made comment of it, I was going to mention that I did have an opportunity to meet with the Academic Senate at their last meeting of the year. I was invited to give an update on where we are, and certainly look forward to working with the Academic Senate on the issues that are before it and trying to provide the support necessary for the faculty to accomplish all of their goals throughout the academic year. We will have quite a bit of work to do in the fall. We will be hiring quite a bit of new faculty and working with the Academic Senate to ensure that as we expand class offerings, which we will be doing in the next academic year, that we continue to ensure that we have the highest academic quality possible at Long Beach City College. Before I forget, I failed to thank one other individual for commencement. That's Marshall Fulbright, who was the faculty coordinator and who I think is directly responsible for many of the changes that occurred in the commencement ceremony, the positive changes that occurred, and did a fabulous job of working to get as many faculty out to commencement as possible. So I want to thank Marshall for that. Finally, because the board is, I know, interested in following Assembly Bill 955, I know it was sent out earlier, but I know I was asked by one of the trustees to make sure and bring this tonight. I wanted to pass it out to all the trustees. The Los Angeles Times published an editorial this morning in support of Assembly Bill 955, so I just wanted to make sure you had that in your hands. That is the latest that we have on that bill. That's all I have.
Okay. In your reference to Phyllis, that'll be Phyllis Arias, correct? Yes. Okay.
No, pronounce it my neighbor.
Academic affairs, no items, no report. Student support services, no items, no report. Administrative services, Ms. Gable.
Yes, the first item that we have is the 2012 annual report on campus crime, and Lieutenant Julie Pryor is walking up to the podium to give us the update on where we were in 2012 with our crime statistics.
Good evening, everyone. Break this down first by each of the campuses, and then I'll do the combined. For the year 2011 compared to 2012, reportable incidents, we did have a 4% increase. As you could see, in 2011, we had 212 reportable incidents compared to 221 in 2012. For the Pacific Coast campus, we showed an 8% increase in those reportable incidents for that campus. And in 2011, we had 83 compared to 2012 with 9. When you combine both campuses together, we did have a 5% increase compared to 2011. You can see the 295 compared to 311 in 2012. You go through the timeline from 2003, where we started policing the campus, you can see we did have a high rate of reportable incidents, and you can see it starts tapering down, where then now in 2012, we had that 5% increase. When you look at the liberal arts campus, in the red shows 2012 compared to 2011. We did have some increases in grand theft, in auto burglaries, and also other category. And I'll explain the other category in a couple slides. Then also you see decreases in the motor vehicle theft, and also in burglaries, and yeah. For the Pacific Coast campus, you will then again see the 2012 reportable incidents versus the 2011. We did have increases in petty theft, vandalism, trespass, assault and batteries. We did have increase in the drugs, and then also our other category. For both campuses combined, we did have 2 felony arrests, and they were for outstanding warrants, and one of those individuals was a student. And for both campuses combined, we had 31 misdemeanor arrests. And you can see the different misdemeanor arrests that took place. Possession of drugs was 10, unauthorized recycling, the 2, trespassing 4, warrants 3, possession of alcohol on campus was the 1, petty theft 2, no business license was the 1, obstructing the sidewalk 3, weapons on campus 1, vandalism 2, resisting arrest, and then a battery on an office. And 14 of those 31 were students. The other category, which I spoke about earlier, captures a lot of the things that aren't quite crimes, and that's also like in the miscellaneous, but a lot of lost and stolen property, the found property, traffic accidents that would have occurred on the campus, the annoying calls, emails, miscellaneous, and then storing the vehicles, where that totaled 183. The miscellaneous captures anything that would be short of something that's not criminal in nature, and a lot of it is where we document student misconduct or potential liability issues, which like are slip and falls or trips that might occur on the district. For the year, we issued 8,347 citations, and both campuses generated calls for service, which some of those were officer initiated, which was 3,312. Any questions?
Board members, any comments on that? I have one. I see in part of the report that we received, you have planned activities for 2013, and you include in here continued involvement with the district's emergency preparedness training, exercises, incident command team training, and building and evacuation drills. Given the events that happened in Santa Monica and apparently a growing concern about safety in our college campuses, I know that there is some perhaps apprehension, concern from parents about their kids coming to school and making sure that we have a safe environment here. I was a beneficiary of a training that that Long Beach PD has, and it's the Active Shooter training program. And I was wondering if that would be something that would benefit at minimum, or at least our administration, to be aware of what to do, what not to do during an event such as that, and perhaps even taking that out into to the students with the ASB and perhaps other student organizations such as our service clubs or anything like that. Is there something in the mix for that? Do you think it would be something that we can incorporate into the training?
Yes, by all means. In fact, we've had 2 active shooter scenarios take place on the campus over the years. We did one at the LAC campus during the spring break, and then we did another one at the Pacific Coast campus. So yes, by all means, we can generate another type of active shooter scenario.
Well, I was thinking more about an actual meeting with, say, the administration and presenting that training. I know what you did was the exercise. I realize that, but also in terms of just providing out information, what to do, what not to do in the event of such an incident.
Correct, and we've also done a tabletop exercise with the executive team, and again, we can do that again. And also, at the beginning of this year, as a result of the shooting in Connecticut, we sent out in the loop a Department of Homeland Security link, which had a video that was very thought-provoking.
Right.
It's what they call the run, hide, or fight video. We just had our emergency preparedness meeting today, and we discussed getting that out, as well as a informative brochure that they're allowing for public, people in the public to be able to view it. So yes, that we can make that happen.
Thank you. That's all I have. Trustee Kellogg.
Along the same lines, I mean, obviously it's a timely because of the sad events that took place up at Santa Monica City College, but to encourage in the next 12 months that we do look at some other ways to communicate to our student population, our faculty, on how we can better, unfortunately, address something that you can never really be prepared for entirely. But at the same time, I would just really encourage that we continue to do that in worst-case scenarios. That's what this whole planning for emergencies is about. And as President Arunga said, and I would support that. Just if we can do whatever we can to communicate to our college community what steps and what events are taking place to hopefully ready ourselves for something that will never happen here. But we know we have to address it, unfortunately, in this time. So that'd be great if we can continue in the next 12 months to look at better ways to how we can educate our college.
Thank you. Trustee Clark? Did you have anything? No?
Let me turn this on. Do you see any rationale or any trends behind the increases in particular areas, or anything that you look at and are a little bit suspicious about? Or
As far as the active shooters, or just anything in general on the campus, sir?
on the campus? In other words, we had an increase.
A
I'm
lot of it
curious
has to do with the property crimes. And what happens is, we try and be a trusting society, and students, faculty, they might leave something like an iPhone or a computer sitting in their backpack or on the desk, and they just leave it unattended for just a mere couple seconds, and they come back and it's gone. So we did see, a lot of what we consider property crimes as a result of, not holding on to your personal property.
Thank you.
Any more comments on that?
I
Thank you
just
very
have
much.
a quick comment. I was just a little bit concerned about your statistics because I know I received more than 2 annoying phone calls.
Well, sir, I believe you did not want to be a victim on a few of them, so we would not have documented as such.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Wonderful. Great.
And happy Father's Day to everyone.
Thank you very much. Speaking of the incident in Santa Monica, I'd like to end this meeting in the memory of those individuals that were certainly affected by the incident that took place over the weekend, last Friday. One of our colleagues, a trustee at Santa Monica City College, Margaret Quinones, had family that was murdered in that incident. So our hearts certainly go out to her and her family for their pain. So we'll do that at the end. Pacific Coast. Oh, we're here. Facilities update. I'm sorry, Anne Marie.
Yes, and actually, we are going to turn this over to Mr. Tim Wooten, who is our Director of Facilities, who's going to give us a bond construction update.
Good evening. The agenda tonight is broken, the construction update for the facilities is broken into 3 different categories. We have current project, upcoming project, and completed projects, and we're also going to cover our long-range construction schedule, and also a short summary on our energy rebate that we worked on. The first project under current construction is our stormwater compliance project for the front quad. There is 2 phases of this project, which I'll cover the second phase and the upcoming projects, but this project addresses the stormwater runoff for the major portion of our campus between Building A and Carson Street. And this project has what we refer to as a passive collection system, and what it does is it collects the stormwater for this whole entire area and puts it into dry wells. I believe there's about 13 dry wells that go about 15 feet deep, and we intend to put that back into the groundwater. And the landscape portion of this project is about 98% complete. All the walkways are open to the public. Right now, we just finished all the hydro seeding. They came in and applied the hydro seed today. And so it'll probably be about a month before we see grass that we can actually mow out there, but that hydro seeding was completed for today. And I think it's important to point out that especially with the current condition of some of the palms, that we do have a 2-year warranty for all the landscape planning out on this project. And we have already requested the replacement of, I believe, 10 of the Canary Island palms due to the fact that the contractor hasn't met his obligations to keep those Canary Island palms in good health. Moving on to PCC campus, building AA and BB. We're currently completed the demolition and the hazmat removal for this project. As you can see, we've pretty much gutted the old building, and they have started on the structural concrete footings and the seismic reinforcement. This is a 2-year project, and we anticipate the end of the construction roughly around the spring of 2015. And then also on the PCC campus, we have our Building CC project, which is the fitness center. And this is actually a 2-phase project, so I'm showing you the second phase first. And the second phase includes all the hardscape and landscape on the exterior of the building. We've completed the PCC turnout and drop-off. If you can see the picture, it's where all the 3 white work trucks are parked, and that affords our students an opportunity to pull off a PCH and drop and have easy access to the campus from that point. The first phase is actually we completed and issued substantial completion on May 10th. We're currently working out the punch list items for the building, and this is a couple of slides. The one on the right is the aerobics area, and the one on the left shows some of the new equipment that was bought for this facility and is already installed. So we have an estimated move-in date, July 2013, so we look forward to getting there and occupying this building. So the second phase of the LAC stormwater runoff compliance project is the center quad, and the center quad collects almost the entire central part of the stormwater. And the California Resource Water Board requires that we retain a 50-year storm on our campus. And in order to do that, I had mentioned that we had a passive system on the first phase. Well, this phase, we had so much water to deal with that we have what we call an active system. And that active system involves retaining water on our campus and pumping it out after the storm has passed. So right in the middle where it says turf, underground, you won't be visible, but there'll be a 360,000-gallon retention tank. And we will retain all the water that drains from all of those surrounding buildings into this tank, hold it during the storm, and then pump it out after the storm has passed. The contract has been awarded to Pima Construction. They're scheduled to start this month. We have a schedule right now that the construction fence will go up on June 18th. And that tends to change, but that's our schedule now. And with an anticipated end of construction at 2014. I want to share with you here, this is our construction phasing plan, and we know and we realize that this plan is going to be quite disruptive. As you can see on the phase 1, 2, and 3, that is the fire lane that goes from Faculty Avenue to basically the parking lot on the Clark Street side. And so we're going through some very narrow areas there that are close to the building, a lot of student traffic. So we spent a lot of time thinking about how we can do this without disrupting, or actually I should say minimal disruption to our instructional part of our operation. So we have phase 1 coming off of Faculty. That is going to start in the summer. A lot of the demo will be done in the summer. And each one of these phases are roughly about 3 to 4 months duration. With the phase 1 through 4, the red area, that'll be active through the entire 13 months of the project. So we'll have access to the construction phase 1 off of Faculty, but most of the access will be off of Harvey Way into the major phase where you see it red. Also upcoming is the renovation of Building C. We have 100% design documents hoping to be submitted very soon to DSA. And of course, this is a modernization of the structure in the classrooms and the office areas. The anticipated construction start is about spring of 2014. But we will be doing a lot of work in building M and N this summer to prepare tenant improvements to move the occupants out of building C into M and N as swing space while we get ready to do construction on building C. This is a rendering of our student services building to be constructed at the PCC campus, building GG. This is our third design, build, delivery method project. We're very happy with the progress so far. It was awarded to Balfour Beatty Construction and also R&T Architect. We're currently moving into 100% designs documents on this with an anticipated start of construction in the winter of 2014. This is an aerial rendering of the Math and Culinary Arts building that's going to be built on the corner of Clark Street and Carson. I like this rendering because it shows the building is actually one building, but it's split by a huge courtyard in the middle, which ties into the campus green. So we're really excited about this. This is also a design, build, delivery project that we've been working on. We submitted a DSA in November, and with hopes of getting it out by June, and we're about 85% complete from my understanding in DSA. So the construction, we're pretty confident will start this summer. Moving on to completed projects, this is a couple of professional pictures that we're taking of the building DD and EE after it was completed. It shows the student union, it shows one of our labs, it shows a tiered lecture hall, and also a great picture of the outside of the building. We're very thrilled to be into this building. It came out really nice, and so it's occupied and we're using it. Also completed is the Building I campus bookstore. They've been in there for a little while, but I needed to report that we did complete this project, and it also came out very well. It's a beautiful project. Moving on to Building A, it's another project that came out really well, especially considering the trouble that we went through getting it built. So we're really happy with the end outcome. This is a picture of the courtyard that is just it's beautiful, and so I wanted to share that with you. Along with another project that we had a really old roof on Building S, and we got a completely new roof. It was finished in May. In addition to the new roof, it also included replacing all the expansion joints from the original construction of the building. It has, I believe, 5 expansion joints in the bleachers. They were all leaking water like a waterfall, and so all of those were replaced along with the roof. Completed construction project, Building D. I say it's complete. We still have a couple upcoming projects, but we've been biting this off with bits and pieces. 2 major pieces were done last summer and last winter break. All the classrooms were painted, all the hallways, stairwells, exterior building was painted, all the ceiling tiles were replaced as needed. We had new code base and new air conditioning registers. So some of the things that are upcoming are some bathroom partition and fixture replacements, and also an elevator replacement. This slide, I wanted to share with you some of the things that we recently completed was this long-range construction schedule. And we wanted to do that because, you know, be transparent and put out there what we are going to be doing in the future. And so I couldn't quite get it on the slides for the presentation, but I'm going to bring up the web page that it's linked to. So anybody on campus can go to this web page and pull up we have we have a list and a graphic. So the graphic, basically you can look at the buildings, you can scroll through and see you know, the approximate date that we're scheduled to do remodels or build on these projects. As you can see, the current one is the stormwater runoff. And so we did that for both campuses. And sorry. We have one for the LAC campus and one for the PCC campus. And it also shows the dates of when we're going, estimated time we're going to do after. We also have a list that will go into a little bit more detail about, and these are listed by the building number, not by date. So, but that's out there on the web, and that's something that we just recently completed. And so that's the long-range construction schedule. To cover real quickly the energy rebates, our program we participate in the partnership with the California Community College and the Bestor-owned utility, and that's a partnership program that we've been involved with ever since I've been here. So we wanted to list the rebates that we've received so far, and rebates that we anticipate getting. Some of those are known, and some of them we haven't got the numbers on yet. But the LA parking structure, we get monthly bills from the California Solar Initiative. So we get rebate checks every month. So we still estimate that we're going to get about $399,000 more in rebates from the parking structure and the solar system. So altogether, we have well over $2 million in rebates that we either have received or anticipate receiving from the program. So at this time, I would hand it over for any questions or anything, elaboration.
Any comments from the trustees?
Right.
Dr. Clark? Go ahead. Put it on.
What would be the source of the rebates?
The rebates are from the partnership. It's mostly from the investor-owned utilities, which are required by the CPUC to have a program, a rebate program.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Very informative. These were These are informative items, and I see that some of our construction is well into the 2020 era. So we're going to be in construction for a few more years. Pacific Coast Campus, no items, no report. College Advancement and Economic Development, no items, no report. Academic Senate.
Just one last thank you, and I'll miss y'all.
Thank you very much. Trustee Communications, do we have any trustee communications at this time? Anyone want to say anything? Ms. Donado.
Yes, thank you. I just want to kind of address a little bit the AB 955, because several of the organizations on campus, of student organizations on campus, have been opposed to this bill, because we believe that this bill will be discriminating all those who cannot afford to pay all those high prices on the tuition in summer and winter. So we are together with other student leaders on California community colleges, and we definitely oppose to AB 955.
Any other trustee communications at this point? Okay. New business. I think we do have some new business already in the queue, but those will be coming up later. Future reports. I don't see any future reports as a result of this evening's meetings. Public comments. At the request, members of the public will be given the opportunity to address the Board of Trustees on matters of general district business. This is the time for members of the public to speak and be heard and share their comments with the board and for the board to listen. Therefore, the public should not expect the board to comment or respond to public comments. A particular position should not be inferred if there are no board member comments during this time. A total of 5 minutes will be allotted to each subject unless extended by the board president. After receiving testimony, the board may recommend placing such items on the agenda of a future meeting or referring the items to staff for report. I have one speaker item, so I don't think I need to go through my usual comments about respect and collegiality, and also about the keeping time. But you have 5 minutes, and this is Peter Rosenwald. You are going to be speaking on the topic of the property 3040 and 3020 in Los Coyotes Diagonal. And I want to really emphasize that this is your topic. If you deviate from that, you will be so noticed. Right.
Good evening, honorable members of the board president, vice presidents, student trustee, and assembled citizens and people viewing this on YouTube. I wanted to comment on properties which the college owns located at 3020 and 3040 Los Coyotes Diagonal near Wardlow and Los Coyotes Diagonal, near Ralph's. If my questions on this topic had been answered in a timely manner by the government relations coordinator, is that Mr. Mark Taylor? I would not be speaking about this issue to the board at this time, because I called and I was promised a call back, and I never got the call. It's my understanding that the college purchased this property at a closed session board meeting. It was either in 2003 or 2008 for several $1 million. Since the purchase, I've been told that a building on one of the properties has been demolished, but I'm not sure of this because I didn't get a very good report. Because the purchase was after the passage of the 2002 bond measure, approval by the voters, I wanted to know if any bond monies was used for this property acquisition, especially now the property has been not used by the college for several years. It seems to me that it's surplus property, and I want to know why it's surplus, why it was purchased. I'm also interested in, well, basically why it was acquired, who were the people involved in the sale. That is mentioned in the, a little bit in the agenda of the board. The name of the company, I think it was Coast Co. Properties. But it was not possible for me to see who the main players were. I tried to look up on LexisNexis, which is a research tool, the law firm that the college used to, in their negotiations, and other people that were mentioned, but I didn't have much success. So I think it's something that's very important, because this was several $1 million that the college spent to acquire this property, and it could have been used for other purposes. I also want to just comment on public comments that I'm standing here. President Uranga, when you read number 19, it says that a total of 5 minutes will be allotted to each subject unless extended by the board president. But it doesn't really say anywhere in here that it's just one subject. Does it? Where in your rules does it say I'm only limited to one subject? I was told by the secretary to the board that I could not speak on more than one subject, and I think that my rights, my freedom of speech, has been limited by what I call this double speak description of number 19.
Okay.
And I would like to say, I'd like to see it changed by the next meeting to make it clear. Thank you for your attention.
Just for clarification, it says it right there very clearly, allotted to each subject. That is, each subject, that's one. So that's all I have to say about that.
Well,
Thank you very much.
each subject,
Your 5 minutes. Your 5 minutes has been.
I'll just say,
expended.
it's not clear, sir. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Hearing any other, we're not going to be going into a closed session, so I'd like to take this opportunity to have a moment of silence before we adjourn in the memory of the individuals who were hurt by the incident at Santa Monica College. So if we could just take a few moments to reflect on their loss. Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.